Millions a year from the West go to Hamas, yet 0 hospitals and 0 new schools have been built in the last 5 years, yet over 30 terror tunnels have been found in the last 2 years. They are controlled by Hamas.
They take from Palestinians, they keep on just eventually...
Which land are you talking about specifically?
Gaza, they're all just...
Well, Gaza they've given up. Gaza's all PA now.
They've given up Gaza?
Yes, the IDF does not... How many Jews live in Gaza? How many Jews live in Gaza?
No, you tell me.
0. 0. Every Jewish Israeli was forced out of Gaza in 2005. 0 Jews live in Gaza. 0. Yes, okay. Because Jews tend to have children, so you have to build more houses to accommodate them. No doubt. So let's just facts about Gaza. It used to be under Israeli IDF control. They gave it up in pursuit of peace in 2005. It's now become a hot tub for terrorists and Hamas. Hundreds of millions a year from the West go to Hamas, yet 0 hospitals and 0 new schools have been built in the last 5 years, yet over 30 terror tunnels have been found in the last 2 years. They are controlled by Hamas. If anyone defends Hamas, I'm sorry. That's just an indecent conversation I can't have for you. Oh, okay, you have a right to that opinion, but let me finish what I'm... What did I just say that's incorrect, though? Because I think the fact that there's no new hospitals and no new schools being built, and it's Hamas, hundreds of millions of dollars are being given to them by the UN and by the US. And
do you guys denounce Hamas?
Do you denounce Hamas?
What?
You don't. Wait. What do you think of Hamas? Wait. What do you think of Hamas? Do you know that? No. It's an open space. What? No, you don't, actually. It's a First Amendment right. You're in a public space, no expectation of privacy. So I'm sorry, you forfeit your right to privacy being in an open space on a public ground in a public university. So let me say though, but you do know in Hamas's charter, it does say to kill Jews, right? Like in Hamas's actual governing documents. Are you okay with that?
Palestinian children are being tried in military courts. They're 12 years old. They're being tried in...
Well, Hamas does use children as human shields. Well, we are. But if a 12-year-old is part of Hamas, I have to look at the specifics of that. They should be interviewed. I mean, of course. I've never said that a country is without faults. I have said they are the most moral country in the Middle East, and I'm fascinated by the amount of hatred that is.
Or my point was about Palestine. You mentioned
what country?
Palestine.
Is that? Oh, okay, where is that?
In the Middle East.
Wait, is it in Judea and Samaria?
I'm sorry, say that again. I can't hear you.
What country are you talking about?
Palestine.
It exists?
Yes.
Oh.
In fact, it existed before the current Israel.
Oh, really?
Yes.
According to who?
According to history books.
Oh, okay. So wait, you mean Judea and Samaria, the rightful homeland of the Jews that they call the West Bank and they're currently occupying?
If you're going by religion, sure. I personally don't go by religion.
Oh, what do you go by then? Where the Arabs want to occupy?
Logic.
Oh,
and
really?
History.
So whose is Gaza?
Gaza is a location. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call and I don't want that to interfere in the mic. Gaza's location within Palestine. But I'd like to go on to my point, if you will. Currently, Israel is actually being labeled by international human rights organizations such as Amnesty International as an apartheid state because they are attacking many people from within Palestine, and they have been the land has been stolen from Palestine. Not to say that the people in Israel do not deserve their own land. I am a believer in a two-state solution. I want to make that clear. And I also want to make clear that I do not agree with the recent incidents because there is no excuse for harming civilians. However, I do want to make
you're morally clear on that. Good.
Thank you. I do want to make clear that also Israel has captured more than 228 Palestinian children in which they held in containment. And of these, 86% were beaten. Oh, and these were, by the way, the 220 is only those that were able to be surveyed. So they were recovered. The 86% of those were beaten in detention, 69% were strip searched, and 42% were injured at the point of arrest. Additionally, I would like to add, due to your claim about dictators, that Benjamin Netanyahu has been in power since 2009, and he also held in power since from 1996 to 1999. So you can argue that
there's actually a moment when he wasn't prime minister.
That's why I said
Naftali Bennett was actually, and he's duly elected. When was the last time Abbas won an election?
Say that again?
When was the last time Mahmoud Abbas won an election?
That I do currently not have.
Yeah, 8 years. They don't hold elections because they're under a dictatorship. I'm just curious because I want to try to find some clarity more than agreement because we're not going to find agreement. If Israel stopped fighting, what would happen? If they laid down all their guns tomorrow, what would happen?
I can't say. I'm not in charge of any of the leadership.
Yes, so all the Jews would be killed. If Hamas
It's
laid
not
down,
about Judaism, though.
if
Israel's actually the ones that have taken Palestine's land.
okay,
and are
again,
killing people
I'm just
in
trying to
Palestine.
find some moral clarity. If Hamas laid down all of their weapons, what would we have?
There would be no more Palestine.
Peace is what we would have.
No, that's.
We would have peace.
Excuse my language, but that's bullshit.
okay.
You know
Okay,
it.
so let me ask this. Why did Israel give Gaza back to the Arab Muslims? For peace. Why did they
Then
give
why
the
are they currently
Sinai to
fighting Gaza?
Egypt? For
Why did they
peace.
throw missiles over there?
No, hold on a second. Why did they give the Sinai to Egypt? For peace. Why did they give the Gaza Strip to the Palestinian Authority? For peace. Well, in Hamas's charter, what does it say?
I'm not defending Hamas.
Well, hold on a second.
Right.
You're defending the Palestinian Authority, which is partners with Hamas, and they duly elected them.
No. I'm
How
not
is
defending that either.
Hamas's charter any different than Nazi Germany's charter towards the Jews?
I'm not defending any of that. And for one,
So what are you defending
hold on.
exactly?
For one, I'm defending the right of Palestine to exist, which I want to clarify. I am not telling you that you're being Islamophobic by supporting Israel. I'm not telling you that you want to kill the Muslims. So trying to say that the existence
No,
of Palestine
here's the fact. Let me
is
tell you.
anti-Semitic is
I think this last weekend
ridiculous.
displayed the holes in your argument. When Jews go for their high holy day, Arabs come in and kill Jews. When Arabs want to have peace, the Jews will come to the table for a peace agreement. Abraham Accords, the Oslo Accords. Any time that the Arabs want to talk, the Jews will come to the table to talk in the pursuit of peace.
Why
Meanwhile,
do Israelites-
this weekend, in a slight vulnerability, what happened? Jews are celebrating the end of Yom Kippur, the reading of the Torah, and they come in and they kill 900 Jews. And answer me this. If this was an isolated incident, why were they greeted as heroes by the people of Gaza after they killed 900 women and children?
I want to make this clear once more because you seem to not be understanding. I am not defending these actions. I am simply refuting the claims that you made up earlier in this argument.
Here's the thing. I think a two-state solution sounds great if you don't actually live in reality. Let me tell you what reality is. The Arabs don't want to govern their own people. They would rather hate Jews. Every day they're saying death to the Jews, kill the Jews. They do not want to govern their own people. There is no middle ground when they're screaming to the sky for Intifada. Israel has been at the table. Agree? Abraham Accords, trying to find peace, trying to sit down with Mahmoud
The
Abbas.
Israelites have hundreds of
Yasser
Palestinian
Arafat?
children in detention. They have sent missiles to Palestine and killed hundreds of civilians. After this event, Netanyahu declared that he will send missiles to Palestine in an area where the Palestinian civilians are not able to leave.
Wait, hold on a second. You mean to Gaza?
Yes.
Right, where they actually gave warnings to apartment buildings. What kind of
They
Israel's
can't
so
leave
bad
Gaza.
that they tell
They
people
wanna
to
block-
leave before they bomb them. Hamas comes on a holy day into kibbutzes and cuts women's heads off at concerts. The moral equivalence is so different.
Yeah.
And let me just ask you, what do you think is a bigger impediment to peace, Hamas or Israel?
If you would like, I'd prefer if you could stop interrupting me.
I'm the speaker, you're not. So let me just remind you, you're a college kid, you came to our event. So let me just ask you a very clear question. Bigger impediment to peace, Palestinian Authority or Israel?
Israel.
Prove it.
Israel.
Tell me one situation where Israel has not come to the table. Israel has given up land. When was the last time the Palestinian Authority willingly gave up land for peace?
Israel's bombing
Never,
the land
because they
gave
don't
up.
want peace. They want dead Jews. And we as Americans should never put up with the intentional extermination of Jews again in our country. Thanks for being here. Thank
Israel.
you. Thank you. We're going to the next
Do not
question.
argue that when you have these debates.
We're going to the next
America,
question.
it's
Thank
not
you.
about race.
Thank
So
you.
Why is it about it there?
We're going to take the next question. Thank you. That is closeted Jew hatred laundered through Arab talking points.
I have a disagreement about the whole Palestine-Israel thing. I promise not to take up as much time as the last person who
worries.
was up here. But I'd like to open with maybe a little statement, which is that, I'm not too partial to either particular side of the political spectrum. But I think that a sad reality is when we talk about the Palestine issue, it's the Gaza Strip is 50% people under the age of 15. It's about 2 million people and about 5 to 25 square miles. And the reality of it is that Israel has said they're going to make a complete siege of the area. They've cut off electricity. They've cut off water. And that's kind of a sad reality. And the reality is they also can't leave. There's only 2 ports of entry and exit. And so, as much as you or others might be pro-Israel, how do we not condemn the Israelis for taking away resources like water from a population that's the majority children? And at what point do we say that it's kind of an open genocide, right? Like when Israel, well, I mean, I know it's easy to.
You realize on Saturday they killed 900 Jews, right?
I understand. I understand.
One side's doing the genocide, the other side is retaliating.
One side's definitely swinging up and one side's swinging down. And I think that when you're a strip of land at which all of your water, airways, and electricity is controlled by a state, which you can't leave, and it gets bombed by missiles, I don't really think it's quite equivocal. I mean, obviously everyone here can condemn the killing of civilians, and that's not a debate that I'm going to have with anybody, left or right.
Sure.
But at what point or time, you say you criticize Republicans, but why don't we ever criticize Israel for what they're doing by turning off water? I mean, how? Well,
I'm not going to criticize. Again, let me just ask a hypothetical. If Cuba came to Miami and killed 50,000 Americans, should we cut off their water? Answer the question.
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Okay, I disagree.
You think we should cut off water to
if
people?
If the Cuban government came and killed 50,000 Americans, which is the population equivalent, right? Sure. So 900 Jews would be 50,000 Americans.
Yeah.
I would completely support war against a country that kills 50,000 Americans. Cuba is the same, about similar distance, right? So yes, I would restrict food, water. It would be all-out war against a country that touched our homeland.
Well, you know what they call all-out war against a populace of people that are stuck in an area? It's a genocide, right? And so, as much as I agree...
No, hold on a second. No. First of all, if that was the case, why is Israel telling civilians to leave a certain area? Number one.
Well, only that are allowed to leave,
hold on a second.
right?
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What?
Like, are Palestinians allowed to leave the Gaza Strip?
Well, they're moving to a different location of the Gaza Strip before bombardments happen. That's number one. Number two, they're already talking about humanitarian corridors being built. Did you know that? They're talking about humanitarian corridors being built with Egypt. So there's already a plan from both the Mediterranean side and the south side. But honestly, I'm not going to overly specify this because war is a really brutal, nasty thing. And you could say whatever you want about Israel. We're not going to agree on it, right?
Sure.
Israel did not invite this war.
No, I don't think so either.
Right, but they have to retaliate, and war is the worst thing humans do. Here's my prayer, that Israel doesn't overreact. Americans don't send troops, and that this is short, and that the terrorists that did this are held to justice. That's what we need to publicly say. But I am not, and you're right. There are kids that are going to die. That pains me. The heaviness should be on you. But the answer is you just kind of roll over and allow people to come into your country, into kibbutzes, into concerts, and mowing down people and say, catch you next time?
I'm just not entirely sure what water has to do with the conflict, Mr. Kirk. I just don't see how the Israelis, the Palestinians, the PLO, and Hamas
honestly,
can use water.
Two things. Here's the issue. The Palestinian Authority is too busy spending $300 million a year incentivizing the slaying of Jews instead of actually going and purchasing water filtration services, all sorts of different things there. Number two, so they build their headquarters under hospitals. It's a fact. They use the entire population of women and children in Gaza as a massive 2.5 million person human shield. That's sick. There are no good solutions here. There's not one that I'm going to say this is wonderful and beautiful and glamorous and this is excellent. It's all crummy. It's all hell. And they invited hell. And something that we like to gloss over as Westerners is we get to live in a very peaceful society, relatively. And we don't realize that sometimes you need a Dresden. And that's a really hard thing to swallow. But guess what? What we did in World War II to defeat the Nazis was 100% morally defensible. And there were people that also died. Israel has a right to defend themselves, and they're going to retaliate. And Hamas, they brought this upon themselves. They were the stewards of those women and children. And as stewards of those women and children, they said, we don't care about the women and children enough that we're going to go into the other. They knew what was. You're trying to tell me that they're shocked that they're getting bombarded and their water's cut off and their electricity is cut? No, they invited it. Final thought.
Sure. I wouldn't necessarily say they, but I do understand the sentiment, right?
Okay.
I do agree that Hamas brings it upon
But
themselves.
I think we can agree. Here's what I will say. I do not think U.S. troops outside of very specific special forces to rescue Americans, which I'm sure you might be able to agree with, should be involved in this conflict.
Yeah.
We cannot allow ourselves to get into another Middle Eastern quagmire that Lindsey Graham and Nikki Haley and Mike Pence might try to get us into. That is something we can agree with, okay?
Honestly, I always say I just love how Charlie always stand to defend what he believes. I wish everybody can just defend what they believe without hesitation or panic. And as much as I hate talking about this, I think yeah, Charlie is right. I'll not even use Israel, Hamas, or Palestine for example. Let me just use our daily thing for example, so that this kid will just analyze it. Someone just comes to your home and attack you, whatever the person does to attack you and your family, and the person, you retaliate by doing something that will obviously hurt the person, but you retaliate. Is it a bad thing? Because that I think that is similar to this. You attack my country while we were unawarely you attack my country, and you want me to sing praises for you, or you expect me to clap for you, or you expect other country to blow whistle or trumpet to say hail you. No, it doesn't make sense. We shouldn't be like hypocrites here. If someone attack you, you're gonna fight so hard. You're gonna fight back. You're not even give the person a chance to breathe. Whatever you do, even if you cannot fight like directly, whatever you do to hurt the person one way or the other, you're gonna do it. So I think that's the same way. Like that's the same thing applying to this scenario situation here. And the funny thing is, in as much as they retaliated or they fought back so hard, they still made arrangement. Like they still announced, let me say, they still gave warnings to civilians, innocent people, to evacuate, move. They still, like, who would do that? Me, I'll never do that. I'll never tell my enemy I'm coming to destroy you. I will do it. I'll do it so hard. But this, in as much as they came, like, they retaliated, they fought back, they still give warnings. What is so morally good about this? They gave warnings for people, innocent or civilians, to evacuate the premises they are coming to attack. And you still had the audacity to stand here and say bad things about them because they cut their water supply. What were you expecting them to do? Like, blow trumpet to their praises. Anyway, let me steal this word Charlie always say. Say Israel is fighting defensiveness of their nation's sovereignty. That's what Charlie always say. And I think it's so true. You come, you attack them. And if right now country you attack America, maybe a country you attack America right now, they are going to fight back whatever they will do to show how strong they are, to show how the American they are. They're going to bounce back, and they're going to bounce back like times 10 that you wouldn't even know. That's the same thing, So hello guy, I don't know what you're saying. We should criticize them for fighting back. Anyway, I always say war is something that we are not proud of. I mean, personally, I always say it's a shameful, it's embarrassing, and it's not something that we should encourage. It's not something that we have to talk about it and make it look like it's a beautiful. No, it's the most shameful thing the world could ever have it. And I always say it's ripped from the beautiful things this world has for us. We have kids, and I can't imagine kids suffering from all this, as innocent as they are, and they have to go through this, and it saddens my heart. It's a sad thing that could ever happen to anybody. So it's not something that we should encourage. But and we hope and we pray for peace for this world, because that's everything that we need. In as much as Israel is fighting defensively for their nation's sovereignty, we just hope peace will prevail, because the world needs that. In fact, I think that we owe the world that, because these children, we have the unborn children, we have innocent lives that are being destroyed by this embarrassing thing. Anyway, I think if this kid is probably from the other side of that country, he needs to be deported. We should send him back. We should send him back for him to feel what people are actually feeling over there. Because he's in America, he's okay. I mean, nothing concern him, so he's just talking anything and anyhow. I think we should send him to the other part of that country to feel what people are really feeling, and his mind will definitely come home. Anyway, let me know what you think about this video. Do you really agree with Charlie? Because me, honestly, as much as I pray for that peace in this world, I think I agree with Charlie. And yeah, let me know what you also think. If you have any recommendation, any suggestion, any view, any perspective on this video for me, don't forget to leave it down there. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to click on the subscription button for more notifications. Thanks for watching.